Hello and welcome to the TNC Podcast, your go-to podcast following the all-encompassing Canaries. Another win, Chris.
Easy. Another win. And what did we say, Jack? In the last podcast we said beat Stoke and then beat Leicester, and guess what comes on? These. Now, we are at the stage, Jack. I'm going to give you one of them. I'm going to give it to you.
Can I hold it?
You can hold it, right? Because, Jack, we need to dust these off. We need to dust these off because just one more win and the hats will come on.
Actually, rather dusty. It shows how long they've been.
Yeah.
If you don't know what these are our HMS PTL All Aboard hats that a lovely viewer of ours made in 2020, 2021. When we die and they make a museum based on TNC, these go front and
centre.
centre.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'll put this out there. I don't know why we're talking about death, but let's do it. If I do sadly pass, can everyone make sure that this is on top of my coffin?
Or
request.
Or they turn up to the funeral all wearing one.
Cool.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, one of the two. Or both.
I hope you don't die soon.
Anyway, away from that was a rather morbid start. Jack, the agenda.
Oh, God,
We've got one public service announcement. Actually, we'll probably end up having two, knowing us. And then we're going to talk about the Stoke City win.
And I'm excited about that.
Lovely little...
I'm really excited about that.
We ground it out, didn't we? We want to talk about Kenny McLean, the mayor himself.
He's a bit good.
The master in midfield. Shane Duffy, the rock at the back. Jack Stacey, what a goal to win it. God. And of course, a Leicester preview, the biggest game so far of the season. And there are some whopping X questions that we've had in, and I'm looking forward to responding to them.
We have to start calling it Twitter again, because when you say X questions, for a moment I'm lost.
Yeah, and it sounds rather raunchy, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes.
Before we get into all of that, and there's so much good stuff to talk about, as you notice at the start and the end of all of our videos and on our socials, we are sponsored very kindly by an array of local companies, one of which go by the name of Wingfield Consultants. And you hear Wingfield Consultants and automatically you think, cool, like proper company.
Yeah.
And then you meet the founder,
Yeah.
Simon Wingfield.
Oh, yes.
And then you look at him and you go, oh, like this is the real deal.
Smells of success, looks like success, and puts businesses where they need to be.
Absolutely.
And that is at the top of the league.
You're quite right.
I know I am.
Quite right. And Wingfield Consultants, they came on at the start of the season. Simon's been a long-term viewer. He said he wants to help us out. We want to help those guys out. Consultancy firm based in Norwich. That's the important thing here. Delivering growth to local businesses. So if you're a business owner, reach out to Simon because I'm sure he can help you out. This man has worked for some of the biggest companies in the UK. He knows his stuff. I went for breakfast with him the other week and I walked out feeling not only kind of 3 inches wider around the waist, but
what were you going to say?
But 2 foot taller as a man.
Oh, wow. Good.
Wingfield Consultancy.
Yes.
Check them out.
Good.
Absolutely bloody brilliant.
Yes. Any other little announcements for me?
I've got a few. I might surprise you through the show.
Okay. Well, here we go. Right. So we beat Stoke City.
I wasn't there, and I was at a wedding.
Yeah.
Brilliant wedding, a family wedding, and we were in, for some reason weddings always are, in the middle of nowhere with absolutely no signal. So anyway, I managed to kind of walk somewhere and find a little bit, and I was holding my phone up like this. It was about 3:45, going, oh, what's the score? Anyway, catch a bit of 3G.
Yeah.
Arms starting to wait, catch some 3G, and it kind of pings to me that Stacey scored.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know the full-time result for at least an hour and a half after the game.
Oh.
So I was like, I'm just praying that we've either gone and scored a few more or kept a clean sheet. And my goodness, did we keep a clean sheet. A big win.
Yes, a massive, massive win. And one of those ones that satisfies you so much. And what I'm particularly happy with about that result, Jack, was the fashion in which we ground it out. It was horrible. But do you know what? I'm totally fine with that as long as we win. That is arguably the type of performance we expected to see from a Dean Smith side.
Yes.
Yeah, which obviously we didn't get at all. And And last season we would have lost that game. I don't just think Stoke would have equalised. I think they would have won that game. And the fact that we managed to grind it out as we did was superb. The only thing I would say is Stoke City couldn't make a pass all game. They were really, really bad in that department. However, in the first half, game plan was working to a degree.
Yeah.
They managed to nullify our midfield. They did a job-ish on Gabriel Sara, on Johnny Rowe-ish. But, this is the thing with this Norwich City side, Jack. If you focus so much on Johnny Rowe and Gabriel Sara, you leave a Fastnacht free. Yeah?
Don't want to leave him free.
Yeah. And what happened, and to be honest with you, in my opinion, I felt it was actually against the run of play at the time. Jack Stacey then scores the opener. I'm so happy that he got that goal. A lot of you would have seen Chris Gorham's tweet that we put out on the Talk Norwich City social media account, of fact that his mum was there.
Yes.
Jack Stacey's mum.
Sitting near Delia.
She was sitting next to Delia.
What a day
and
she
of course, her son then scores his first goal in 3 years. And Jack, we need to talk about Jack Stacey, don't we? Because Mr. Reliable, and I've seen one of the comments on our podcast post already is, is Jack Stacey the new Norfolk Cafu? No, I think we need to be talking about it.
Yeah?
I think we do. I think he deserves that title already. What do you think?
Well, I think Jack Stacey kind of epitomised our summer transfer window.
Yeah.
Not someone you start really getting excited about, but someone that you've seen play, you know what they're about, and you hope that they deliver on the pitch. And I had a lot of Luton fans reach out in the summer, and they were going like, Jack Stacey is the man that you needed. And I was like, not so sure, like, we'll see. Wow, he's really, really impressed me. I've been really impressed, actually, with basically every signing we've made. And I think we'll get on to our transfer business later on in the show. But in terms of a direct replacement for Max Aarons, I think he's actually... Max was great for us.
Yeah.
And I thought across the 4 or 5 seasons he played was one of our most consistent performers. I actually think from what we've seen from Jack Stacey so far, defensively he's better than Max at this stage. And I know it's a small sample size we're going from.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a better player than Max. I'm saying I think man on man, he's been better defensively. He's just relentless going forwards. And we spoke when Wagner first came in about the importance of his wide players. He's basically another winger, but he can get back and defend. His end product's there. He can cross a ball. And I think now he's got his first goal. I think some more will start to come. I look back to, I think it was... It was Hull at home. Yeah. And I think he should have scored in that game.
Yes.
But in that moment, you go, if he's getting into these positions, goals will come. Yeah. And there we go, against Stoke.
I think he is. If he's not the first name, he's the second name on the team sheet at the moment. I really do believe that. I'm so impressed with Stacey, but also very, very impressed with the mayor in midfield, who was, if they've not drug tested him after that game, then they should have done, because he was everywhere.
On
Jack.
The Mad Dog.
He was absolutely everywhere. Yeah, no doubt that he was on the Mad Dog pre-match, half-time. So happy that King Kenny, Captain Kenny, is now getting the respect that he deserves from the Yellow Army. He was absolutely magnificent against Stoke City. He bossed it. He was making tackles. He was just everywhere. I'd love to see... I haven't actually seen his running stats yet, but I've no doubt that he ran more than anyone else on the pitch at the weekend. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Some of his previous numbers I'd seen is that he'd run the most in the league at one point this season. So... Yeah, big up to Kenny. We have to talk about him. And the other man, hang on, what do you want to say about Kenny?
I think with Kenny, his performances have been brilliant this season. I think it helps that he's now got a regular quality midfielder next to him. And Gabriel Sara. I think Sarah's allowing him to bring the best out in McLean. I think vice versa as well.
Yes, agreed.
Look, McLean has maybe been a scapegoat somewhat in previous seasons. I think at times has been deserved. But... in terms of, Wagner has found a role that suits him now, and he's been able to consistently perform in that. And I think, he brings the best out in Sarah. I think often we see him drop quite deep, almost becomes a third centre-back and allows Stacey and Yanulis to bomb up the pitch. I just really like how that looks.
It's so slick in midfield. It's such a well-oiled machine. That's what I love about this midfield, and that's why I wasn't worried about again to repeat. I'm obviously disappointed that Marcelino is injured, and I hope he comes back as soon as possible. But that area of the pitch, I ain't too worried about it, mate. I'm just not, because we've got players that can then fit in that system, and it's just looking so good. You mentioned that word there, Jack, scapegoat, and I want to bring up something that I've seen, thankfully, a lot of Norwich fans finally start to bring up after the Stoke game. And that's Ben Gibson.
Oh, yes. I'm excited to talk about Gibson.
Yeah, I think Gibbo's really had a really tough time, actually.
At this rate, we're just going to be spending the whole hour talking about individual performances.
Yeah, but they were that good. And I want to talk about Ben Gibson because he has looked fantastic this season. So much more confident, so much more aggressive, on the heels of the opposition, not taking any shit from anyone. And him, alongside the Irish Rock, up the duff, Shane Duffy.
Yeah.
Mate, him and Duffy,
yeah.
I'm struggling to find a better centre-back pairing in the Championship right now.
Really?
No, I'm being deadly serious. Can you name me one? Who is better than Ben Gibson and Shane Duffy at the back?
Can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm buzzing for Ben. I'm so pleased that he's clearly got his confidence back, being consistent. And I'm so happy that Norwich fans are starting to sing his praises again, because, of course, he was a scapegoat as well. I've got this good feeling of that togetherness is almost back, Jack. Gone are the cobwebs of, fragility and toxicity and, not being that bothered as last season. I feel like the fans are together now, and we're encouraging players. And one of those players I'm so happy that we're back on board with is Ben Gibson. He's been excellent, and I thought he deserved a shout out, but not as much as Shane Duffy. Sorry, Gibbo. Shane Duffy. Yeah. My word.
Well, I think again, we speak about partnerships. I think that centre back pairing, I think that's the most important area of a pitch to find consistency. And I think Duffy and Gibson have that now.
Yeah.
And I think it shows the levels that these guys are operating at, that they kept Ahmed Bamadeli out of the squad. Yeah. I know, granted, he was looking for a move and they didn't want him injured, but still they kept him out of the side. Duffy, when we signed him, I thought, look, solid Championship player. His CV's phenomenal.
But he hadn't played that many games, Jack.
There is that. And I thought, is he quick enough? Can he fit into a kind of Wagner, total football type style? Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely can.
And do you know what, Jack? Even if he didn't, I kind of don't care. He's an absolute man-mountain mammal. A big, hairy mammal. Yeah, but he is. And I say that with the absolute pure love and respect. Yeah. If you're a striker, a Championship striker, and you see big Shane Duffy, you're like, oh, fucking hell. This is going to be a long afternoon.
I think it's one of the reasons Gibson's been so good, because if Gibson isn't good, I wouldn't want to be Ben Gibson.
Well, to be fair,
because he's going to be getting, some pelters for Big Shane.
I mean, there was only one moment where Shane misplaced a pass. It was early on. I can't remember which game it was.
Hull.
It was the Hull first goal, wasn't it? I think it was the first goal.
First goal of the
Shane
season.
just put Gibbo under way too much pressure and sort of pumped the ball into him, and obviously Ben couldn't get it under and breaking goal. But apart from that, excellent. Shane Duffy, I'm so happy. And as I said before, I think if you're looking to replace Grant Handley in the immediate, short, and maybe even medium and long term, I mean, you've got a great replacement there.
And I think Stoke are a good side. I think just going through their results.
Well,
this
they're a good
season,
team of individuals, aren't they?
Yeah, but if you look at their record this season, Chris, they pumped Rotherham 6-1 in the cup. They've beaten Watford, West Brom. They beat Rotherham 4-1 in the league. And their defeats have been, fairly small margins. So this isn't a bad Stoke side. And the thing that really excites me about this performance, look, it wasn't a Huddersfield away type performance where we were just dominant and we bossed it and we scored goals. Stoke could well have equalised. Yeah. They had opportunities. So did we. We missed a lot of opportunities as well.
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot of these types of performances over the last couple of seasons that we've lost 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-1, where we either start really promising and we don't score, and then the opposition score a couple in the second half, or we take the lead and then we let it go in the second half.
And that shows progression, Jack. that shows that.
I think it's a mentality thing.
Oh, mate, I was about to say, right, that was what I was about to say. You've nailed it there, Jack.
I've taken your line.
The mentality is night and day. Night and bloody day. To have a disappointing defeat at Rotherham, bounce back straight away with a home win, that's what a proper team do.
Yeah.
They bounce back. And the mentality there, it wasn't there last season. And that just shows the growth, the improvement, the progression. It shows David Wagner and everything that he's been able to do in pre-season. It shows that the players are believing in his style, his system. They're listening to the coaches. I want to actually say a big up to Connor Southwell and the Pinkin actually.
Connor Southwell.
For a fantastic interview with the assistant coach
good,
as well.
It?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I'd highly recommend that you go and watch it. And I was listening to what was being said and I thought, blooming heck, David Wagner's got some good people behind the scenes as well, And I can feel something, Jack. I can feel
something's happening. Something's happening.
We don't want to admit it. We're trying to keep our feet on the ground, but it's hard.
The other thing, and look, let's just keep firing positives at each other.
Go on then.
And let them stick.
Go on then.
I was thinking the other day, when Pukki was in this side, it felt like the only person that scored goals was Timu Pukki.
Okay.
Now, the distribution of goals, everyone seems to score.
Yeah,
so I'm just going. So this last starting 11, Ida has scored twice this season. Rowe has scored about 74. Barnes has scored 2. Fasnacht has scored 2.
Yeah.
Sarah's scored. Stacey's scored. And then in terms of assists, Yanulis has had 1. Sarah's had a couple. So all of the attacking players have scored. A defender scored and a midfielder scored.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and going,
Yeah. It's
okay.
Good. No, I know. And just going, and I think we said this previously, Jack, as well, about Fasnacht, randomly. I'm going to bring this up again. I love this about this Norwich City side. You've got to be careful if you're the opposition, because all of the headlines have gone to Johnny Rowe, and I'm pleased that they have, by the way.
He's given it a go.
He's given it a go. We love Johnny Rowe. And Gabriel Sara, of course. By the way, of course, the Championship Player of the Month for August. But I love the fact that they're getting all the attention. But then you've got Big Bad Barnesy. He's chipping in, yeah? You've got Fasnacht.
Yeah.
And at the moment, if you're the opposition, you're like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
We can't necessarily man-mark one of these players because the others are a bit shit. You've got problems from all angles.
Yeah.
It's a real positive, and especially going into this game against Leicester on Wednesday night.
Well, the thing that really excites me is come February, when we're maybe 5 points clear at the top of the table, and we're going, I want it to be 10, then comes Josh Sargent, because he'll be returning from injury.
Yeah.
We've forgotten about Josh Sargent.
And don't forget, before then, we would have sprinkled in a bit of Borja Signs as well. Yeah, don't forget him.
Just before we get on to taking a look at Leicester coming up, I don't think we've recorded a podcast since Jonathan Rowe was named EFL Young Player of the Month. And that's not just the Championship. That's League One, League Two, Championship, 72 teams. Who comes out on top? Johnny Rowe.
And I'd like to make you an offer. It's that deal or yeah.
Are you turning into Noel Edmonds?
Yes, I am. It's the deal or no deal situation here, Jack. And I'd like to make you an offer. Would you like to start paying in monthly instalments? Because every time he wins EFL Young Player of the Month, surely a little £100 here, £100 there. That is sensible. I think you're going to have to start considering this, Jack.
Look, I think it will feel more painful for myself and also more impactful if I just pay it off in one big swoop come the end of the season.
Okay, fine. Well, look, the offer's been made. But congratulations to Johnny Rowe. Well deserved. And, of course, got his England call-up as well.
Johnny Rowe's very young.
Yes.
You're getting old.
Yes, I am.
Your birthday's coming up.
Yes. Why are you bringing this up?
I thought I'd get you a little early birthday present.
Oh, okay. Really?
I've got you a little early birthday present. You don't know what this is. It comes in a jazzy little packet.
Okay.
And I thought, I want to give it to you on camera. And I want you to open it.
What is this?
I want you to open it on camera.
Okay.
I phoned up my good friend Seb Ward,
Yeah.
who's a big Norwich fan, lives up in Manchester.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I said, look, Chris's 30th, big birthday, is coming up soon. I want to...
Day of the Birmingham game.
I want to do something special.
Yeah.
So here you go, mate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Open it up. This is a little early present in honour of... your favourite human, maybe after your wife, second favourite human.
Okay, it's a T-shirt. Oh, what is this? What is this? Oh my God. You're joking me. Oh my God. Johnny Rowe, let's have a go. Mate, thank you
like
so much. Mate, I'm actually getting a bit emotional. That is actually unbelievable.
Now, I ordered you an XL.
Thank you, mate.
Mainly to get round your biceps.
It's not going to fit me, but thank you.
I can get you a smaller size.
I'll wear it to bed as a pyjama top.
Okay. So he's always on your mind.
Could you get me a medium, please?
I could.
Thank you.
So
Mate,
there you go.
That is, what a birthday present. Thank you. And Johnny Rowe, let's have a go.
If people at home want one, they can also order it.
Shut up.
We have relaunched our merch store.
TNC merch is
People
back.
have been asking for years. It's honestly been years since we've done merch. And I thought, if we're returning,
Yeah.
it needs to be special.
Why have you not told me this?
Because I wanted this to be a surprise.
Mate, but I'm your manager.
If people want one,
Right, hang on a minute.
the
Right.
link's in the description.
Let me get this straight, right?
Yeah.
So you've gone behind my back.
Yeah.
You've created this.
Yeah.
I thought it was a one-off, so I was starting to feel a bit guilty for our audience.
No.
You've relaunched the TNC merch website.
Yeah. This has been in planning for months.
Seb didn't even tell me he
No.
did this, right? And people can get hold of this.
People can get one. I think we're going to do it limited time only.
Okay.
It's genuinely really good quality. We've found a really nice supplier.
It actually is.
It's all very eco-friendly. We're good for the planet. The link's in the description if you want one.
Mate, thank you, mate.
No worries.
That means
Do
a
you
lot
like
to
it?
me. Mate, genuinely, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
And you've got to wear it to your party.
Do you know what? I'm gonna quickly just hang this over the sign. Let's get.
We're covering the TNC sign.
I think this needs to stay like this for the rest of the season now.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Iconic.
If you're listening on audio only, check it out on Twitter.
Yes, do
Or
that.
something.
Do that.
Johnny Rowe, he's been marvellous. Leicester on Wednesday night, Chris.
I'm a bit shaken from that.
Let's bring you back down to earth. We were slagging Leicester off the other week.
Yes.
Annoyed some Leicester fans. Quite annoying because Leicester fans are one of the few groups of people who still liked us.
Hang on, right.
Not anymore.
This is going to annoy. Well, we do just need to have a quick interlude.
I'm going to take this off just because it's blocking the line.
Oh, okay, fine. I want to talk about the Stoke fans before the Leicester fans.
Any good?
Awful.
Oh.
Dreadful. Honestly, dreadful.
Why?
I'd say the Stoke City fans at Carrow Road were one of the worst I've seen in years.
Really?
Honestly. You know, don't get me wrong.
What, from a noise or a behaviour perspective?
Both.
Oh.
And I mean behaviour as in just pathetic.
Oh.
No noise.
Yeah.
5 of them singing at any one time. And what was worse, they sat down away. Who goes and sits down away?
We were on a nice positive streak
No,
then, and you've gone and offended another bunch of people.
I don't care. They were dreadful. They were honestly dreadful. And considering the team that they've got, you know,
And a good manager.
I've seen blooming. I don't actually know. I won't compare them to Tin Pot FC. But honestly, Stoke fans, please start, for the good of your own club, start supporting your team, please.
Okay. Leicester.
Yes.
We've annoyed the Leicester fan base.
Yes, we did.
Because we slagged off their manager.
Yes. Look.
No regrets.
Look, Leicester look good.
Leicester have just beaten Southampton 4-1. Southampton, by the way. We won't, transition too much.
Falling off.
Last 2 results, 5-0, 4-1.
Yeah.
I predicted those guys to win the league. Come on, Russ.
And I predicted Leicester to win the league.
Who are going to win the league? Norwich City. Leicester come to Carrow Road. They're not top of the table. Preston are top.
Yes.
Leicester are second.
Yeah.
Who are third?
I'm not saying it.
Who are fourth?
We are.
We're fourth. So we're 2 points behind Leicester.
Yeah.
Under the lights. On Sky Sports.
Undefeated at home all season.
This gets me hugely excited.
Yeah. And I'm going to double down on my point from the last podcast. Let's not be scared. Going into this, look, I know Leicester are looming. I know they're a strong side. I know they've got Premier League, some really good Premier League players in that team.
Yeah.
And they've got some fantastic young talent as well. They can hurt you in multiple ways. But let's think. Imagine if we win this game, what it will do. We're 2 points behind. We go ahead of them. okay? We win at home. We're still undefeated at home, okay? We beat one of the best teams in the league. I think they are the best team in the league. I think that they're not going to be too far off what Burnley were last season. I'd go as far as saying that. I think that Leicester should absolutely demolish this league. They really should.
It's a good squad.
And arguably, this is the best time to play them, right? Because we want to get them now when when we've just come off the back of a home win. We're then back at home again, okay? They're going to come to Canaries, and I think they'll be a bit scared.
Of course they will be.
Yeah, they're playing one of the form teams in the league as well. And I just want to make a massive plea now to the Norwich City fans, to the Yellow Army that are going on Wednesday night to the Leicester game. Make some noise. And I've said this before, and I feel like people don't listen. And I'm not just talking about the Barclay end of the Snake Pit. I'm talking about all 4 stands, on your feet, clapping, shouting, abusing the opposition players. Yeah, I'm saying it. Make Carrow Road fucking horrible for Leicester on Wednesday night. Yeah? And let's win that game. Let's make it the best game of the season. Let's do our job in the stands. If we do our job in the stands, Norwich do their job on the pitch. And I can't wait to see the look on that Enzo, whatever his name is, his face.
Enzo Maresca.
When we shithouse a dirty 1-0 win, Barnsley's deflected one in the back of the net. Fine. Don't care. Imagine it.
This does feel big, this game. It's the first game of the season where it's not nerves.
Yeah. But it's a big game.
It's butterflies. I've got butterflies.
Yeah.
And we're recording this on Monday. I've still got 48 hours before we see Norwich score a few against Leicester. But I'm just thinking, there's going to be a lot of people watching this game on the telly.
Yeah.
And they're going to be expecting Leicester to win. They're going to be going, we haven't seen much of Norwich. It's shocking last season. Leicester have got a great team. The look on their faces, Chris, when Norwich City win this game.
Yes.
And they go, oh, bloody hell, Norwich are back.
Yeah.
We should never have written Norwich off.
Mate, and the fact that it's on telly turns me on even more. It does. Yeah. Imagine pulling Leicester's pants down live on TV and how good that's going to be. I think this is really good news. Let me just give you a couple of examples.
Okay.
Johnny Rowe. He hasn't scored or assisted in his last game. It's just a lucky purple patch. He will be so motivated to prove them wrong. Gabriel Sara. Yeah, just won the Championship Player of the Month.
We've just said he's going for 50 million quid.
An opportunity for him there. Big Bad Barnsley. I remember him. He used to play for Burnley in the Premier League. He's going to want to prove a point. All over the pitch. Points to prove. And 3 points to gain. Mate, it's going to be a tough game.
Wow.
I'm talking it into existence. Yeah. But if you offered me a draw, I'd bite your hand off. Because they can hurt us.
Shall we see what the people of Twitter are saying about it?
Let's do that.
Yeah, the lovely people of Twitter. If you want to get involved with asking us questions in the future, head over to our Twitter. I think we're approaching 25,000 followers.
I have actually had a request this week, which is, why don't you ask for questions on Instagram and Facebook? And honestly, we're just lazy. We just can't be bothered. Because
you could have made something up.
No, because the problem is, guys, is that we want to make sure we get through as many as possible. And when we're looking in multiple places, things get lost. Yeah. So if you are watching, listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, if you want to get involved in the podcast and you want a shout out, you need to head over to X, used to be known as Twitter, still not used to that, and you need to reply to our pinned post. The order every week is on a Sunday, we post and ask for questions, statements, rants and raves. Yeah. Then on a Monday, we film it. And on Tuesday it goes out. So you've got no excuses to get involved in the podcast.
None at all. Let's start with Ron Marrero. Starting with Ron because...
What a name. Hang on, what a name. Yeah. What a name.
Name of the week.
Name of the week.
Ron Marrero from Ron Marrero. Ron says, a little bit left field, but I like it.
Go on.
Premiswar Poeta might become one of our most important players this season. Looking good again. One could have ingested cases of Lakens and would have never have uttered that sentence last season.
Yeah.
Premiswar Poeta.
Yeah, PP.
I'm still...
Yeah, the Polish prince.
I'm still working him out.
Okay.
I don't know what he is.
But guess what, Jack? Here's the good news.
Yeah.
If you're still working him out, the opposition are still working him out.
Okay.
And that is good news.
So he's one of those, kind of left field wild cards.
Yeah, completely unpredictable, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And off the bench, why not? And again, we've said this before, I'll say it again.
Do you think he's good enough?
Fair play to Wagner for getting him up to where he needs to begin to be again. Like, that's a massive, massive positive. Massive positive.
Do you think, be serious, do you think he's good enough?
No, I don't. I don't think he's good enough. In terms of starting, I need to be clear, in terms of starting, but I do think he's got the potential to contribute to this team this season. We've seen it away in the Cup, and I think we'll see it. I don't think it'll be too long before we see it in the league as well. And all you need is a couple of injuries, Jack, and he's going to be playing. Look, I'm so happy for PP. I'm so happy he's proved us wrong. And I hope that he gets opportunities to prove his worth in this Norwich City side. I really do.
Ron, thank you for the question.
I've got one from Matthew Mann. That's a solid name.
Matthew
That's just
Mann.
so solid. Disappointing bio though. It says cricket, wrestling and music. Fucking hell. Cricket. You can't lead with cricket, Matthew. You boring sod. Right, anyway, he says, does anything get you going more than a scrappy 1-0 win against Stoke? Surely a game we go on to concede in last season. Love the grit and determination the old guard bring, says a man in his 40s with a little laughing emoji. Matthew Mann, I love that from you.
Intelligent man, likes his cricket, so no wonder.
It's perfect, isn't it? A scrappy 1-0 win.
And I think, we've seen lots of different types of performances this season. The 4-4 against Southampton was swashbuckling. We scored loads, defensively really bad, going always that sustainable. We saw a really professional 4-0 win away to Huddersfield. We've seen late comebacks against Hull. This was the performance I was waiting for. This was the professional, grindy one. This was the performance... the season Burnley got promoted last season, there were plenty of these types of games for them.
Yeah, true.
These are the games that win you titles. These are the games that get you promoted. These are the games where your performance levels clock in at around 70%. You're in gear 4, but you still deliver the 3 points. These are the games you look back on at the end of the season and go, that win against Stoke on that warm Saturday afternoon in Norwich was what won us that title.
Mate, hairs are standing up on my arms.
It's true though.
Mate, I don't disagree. I tweeted it as well after the game.
Huge.
I think if you can get through those games in, as you say, gear 4, I'd argue Stoke was gear 3, to be honest with you. It's a very, very good sign. And here's another great contribution from Adam at NCSC. Adam, what does he say? He's 21, Southend, Nodge. We'll forgive you for supporting Southend, but he has put Nodge in there as well. Gonna be tasty on Wednesday night, ain't it? A proper test of where we are. Bite both your hands off for a draw, but don't fancy our chances massively.
Tasty, that's a good way of describing it.
It is.
There's character about this game.
But the story is
it's
there.
It's full-bodied.
And the stage is set.
Yeah, look, would I take a point? Actually, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't take a point. Because Hull have beaten them this season.
Are you being serious?
No, I wouldn't take a point.
You're not taking a point?
No, I think Norwich.
Against Leicester?
I think Norwich are good enough to beat Leicester. I think we're at home.
I love that from you.
That yes, they've just beaten Southampton 4-1, but Sunderland beat Southampton 5-0. The game before that got beat by Hull 1-0.
Do you know what? I'll have a bit of that from you.
No, yeah, let's put some respect on Norwich City's name.
No, I do agree, but that is actually
Yeah, like if we draw, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But
if we draw against Leicester on Wednesday night, I'll be proper giving it the big one.
No. I think
it's a massive result.
I think these are the types of games that build momentum. Look, a win would be absolutely huge. A draw would be nice to just keep the journey flowing, keep it moving in the right direction. Look, I think you're right. I think this is the biggest test of the season. Equally, Chris. I mean, we didn't really know what Southampton were about when we went there. We said, that was the biggest test, and we came through that okay.
Yes, and I'm now disappointed we didn't win that game because they've been pretty average at best, haven't they?
I think
you're dangerously confident, which worries me.
Am. From what I've seen this season, Norwich City have all the tools they need to do something special against Leicester.
CJ Leffler, friend of the channel, he says, statement, the past 2 games have revealed just how important Sargent is to our system. Spearheads every attack and relentlessly keeps the opposition on their toes. Great news that he'll be back sooner rather than later, and I hope Hwang can fill that role in the short term. So Jack, of course, against Stoke, Hwang made his debut for Norwich City. It was all right.
Bit sluggish?
I don't know about that. Like, I think he did what he could with what he was given. I don't think there was a lot of supply to him. I don't think there was a lot of supply also to PP and Anel either. But Hwang...
he's not played much football.
This is my point. So I think, look, he did what he could, but I'm agreeing with CJ Leffler's point here. What we get with Sargent is the opportunity to stretch a back line. We don't get that with Adam. I think we should get that with Adam, but we don't yet. We do get that with Sargent. So as you've said already, Jack, Sarge comes back, we're on a roll. We really are on a roll. And to be honest with you, once Sargent's in the mix, I don't see us losing.
I think.
No, I don't.
I think the thing with Sargent is
because we'll score so many bloody goals, Jack.
When's he returning? January, February, they've said, haven't they?
Yeah.
So if you get to that stage and you're still in the top 6, you tick that as a massive yes.
Yeah, agreed.
I think you just need to stay in touching distance, and that's what makes these results against Stoke so important.
But what I would say about this one is I observed a similar vibe to CJ actually against Stoke. We did look quite short up top. We did.
So we've got Ida, we've got Barnes, we've got Hwang.
Just like our midfield is fantastic, but I don't know whether it was like the lack of runs or maybe it was just general fatigue, or I don't know what it was, but the strikers weren't really engaged on Saturday.
I think that will come.
Yeah, no, I do too. By the way,
I'm
not giving up on what we've got. Certainly, I just agree with that point from CJ. But we've got to back the boys to deliver, and it's still very, very, very early days on Hwang.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to see more of Hwang. I think the game where he really puts himself onto the Norfolk radar, Fulham in the Cup. I think he starts in that game, and I think he scores a couple.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, actually.
I have.
Go on.
Let's take a look at Will. He reiterates the point about Shane Duffy, does Will. Well, so Shane Duffy had his best game in a Norwich City shirt. Absolute colossus. Think we lose that game without him. Is Duffy the type of player that we were missing? Do you agree with Will? Do you think we lose that game if Duffy wasn't in the back line?
I don't necessarily... I wouldn't... Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree partly. I think that Duffy was that important. So yeah, I do agree. But at the same time, I feel like as a team we were more assured. We did the simple things, you know. Don't fuck around with it. Plant it into Rosette if required. Yeah, keep the ball high up the pitch. Don't do misplaced passes in midfield. We did all of the simple stuff. And so yes, Shane Duffy was monumental against Stoke. He really, really was. But so was Ben Gibson. Yeah. So was Kenny McLean, yeah, and arguably we defended from the front. You know, I know it's a cliche, but we really did. You know, Johnny Rowe did his defensive work well before he was substituted off, for example. So yeah, I
want to provide some therapy to our viewers, and Connor Warnes has got in touch. Good old Connor, we love Connor. He says. Connor needs some reassurance from us.
Does he?
And our viewers as well.
Is he all right?
Yeah, no, I think he's fine, but just needs a little bit of reassurance.
Okay, go on.
Have we overperformed in August? Ooh. Both the game against Rotherham and Stoke, I've seen glimpses of last season where we've given the opposition too much space and have looked scared to make a challenge. I'm very nervous about Wednesday night. Yeah. Please reassure me it's going to be okay.
I would validate what Connor's saying. I'm not going to reassure him. I'm going to validate. I agree with his point because... Don't get me wrong, defensively against Stoke we did look good, but you have to remember that Stoke are a very much a new side. They signed a mental amount of players in the summer window, so they didn't really gel that well, which is why they didn't. Their passing was shockingly bad. Leicester will be slick. They'll be well drilled. They'll be a team. They can play narrow. They can play out wide. They've got options all over the pitch, and so. I understand why Connor is nervous going to that Leicester game. I do get it. The other thing I would bring up as well is that, don't get me wrong, there weren't massive chances against Stoke, but Johnny Rowe created one for himself and unfortunately couldn't convert. It was straight into the goalkeeper's arms. Adam Ida had a couple actually.
The one cut back for him, I thought he should have done better.
There was a lot of time there, but then at the same time, if you look at the replay, the way that the ball was bouncing, maybe I'm making excuses a little bit, but it's those half chances against Leicester. If you get a half chance, You've got to hit the target. You've got to force a save. You can't just be sort of putting it into the goalkeeper's arms. I know it's easier said than done, but that's going to be the difference on Wednesday night, Jack. Can we take our chances? Because we might only get two. Because we might be pinned back by Leicester. Dean Ashton, who does his warm-up, the warm-up piece, obviously sponsored by Gasway, our great sponsors. He mentioned that he thinks that we could and should hurt Leicester on the break. He actually thinks we're not going to have much possession on Wednesday night. And so if you're not having that much possession, you're going to need to take more of your chances. And against Stoke, we were a bit sloppy up top. But Connor, defensively, I agree. We're going to need to be even sharper than we were against Stoke.
This is a brilliant statement that's been sent in by Jeff Man.
Jeff
Jeff loves Norwich and is a season ticket.
Cracking name.
That's all we need to say.
Go on.
Statement. Christian Fastnacht could do a job absolutely anywhere.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper crisis, get the gloves on. Delia's head chef's not turned up, put the apron on. This man is cooking up a storm. I love that.
Do you know what? That's statement of the podcast. That is fantastic.
And the thing I love about Christian Fastnacht, no drama.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Just pops up and scores.
Yeah.
Pops up and a little assist.
And I think this is going to sound really weird and a bit football hipstery from me, maybe.
Wow.
But
you're going to start getting into XG and XA.
I don't think I've truly appreciated just how good he is. I'll tell you the reasons why. Even when I spoke to Timmy Close, because obviously we've signed him from the Swiss League. I think he was playing his home games on almost like this. It's not AstroTurf, but it's not a real pitch.
Yeah.
And also then the FIFA card stats were released last week, I think. And I don't play FIFA anymore. I wish I had the time to. But I saw that he was the highest rated Norwich player. And don't get me wrong, FIFA card stats don't really mean that much.
He's 79 Ultimate Team.
It did make me think, fucking hell.
Yeah.
That gets me going.
Yeah.
I just love how under the radar Christian Fastnacht is. And I think the opposition players will as well. He's like the silent assassin.
Yeah.
The silent Swiss assassin. Christian Fastnacht. Again, does the simple stuff well. I think it was David Wagner said the Stoke game was actually his best performance in a Norwich City shirt, and I struggled to disagree.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
And I think the other reason we're not like really raving about him, he's not your typical winger.
Right.
You wouldn't say he's particularly quick.
Really? I think he's quick.
Well, it's not like an Onel or a Puemozoa Poeta quick.
I think he's sharp.
But he's efficient.
Yes, very much so.
He is really efficient.
Yeah. He just does the simple stuff so well, time after time. So yeah, Christian Fastnacht, I'm a huge fan. Chris Kemp, and he's put his name on X as all caps. Yeah. Chris Kemp.
He wants to make an impression.
And he says, rave. We always love a rave.
We do like a rave.
When do we start building a statue of this beautiful man overlooking the Norwich Castle in our fine city? What a player he is, guys. We are lucky to have him. #. And we got him from Brazil. Of course, he's referencing Gabriel Sara.
Well, I think
we said it last season. Build the statue.
I think the amazing thing with Sara, Chris, is, on Saturday, it was a good performance, but it wasn't his best of the season. And I was just going through the ratings from the game. And I was looking and I was going through 7.6, 7.5, pretty good ratings. Stoke, no rating above 7.4. Gabriel Sara, 8.6 rating. This man's numbers, I'm just looking...
Hang on, is that the Stoke game?
Yes.
Right, so here's what's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So was he... And is he above...
Everyone.
Is he?
Man of the match.
More than Stacey, more than McLean, more than Duffy? Yes. Bloody hell. That's exciting.
Now, look, you can always take these ratings with a slight pinch of salt, but they're based on...
Well, not really.
They're based on numbers.
They're based on facts.
Yeah, and they don't care about feelings.
Facts don't care about feelings, as we say in this podcast.
I think this is where we're at with Sara. Even an average Gabriel Sara performance is still industry leading in the Championship.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate.
So when he does put in a really solid performance, I mean, that's levels above. Look, he was Championship Player of the Month by a long way.
Yes.
And I think he'll continue to win individual accolades. And I think we'll see him at the end of the season on City Hall with a trophy aloft.
And the Barry Butler.
Oh, I mean, that's probably...
And by the way, we have actually... we did actually tweet last season Norwich Cathedral. and Norwich City Council. And one of those two did reply saying that planning permission could be granted. Or something like that. I might have made that up, but fuck it, you got to try, haven't you? Jamie Ellison says, question.
Yeah.
Is Ashley Barnes going to score enough goals this season? Go on, Jack.
Well, I mean, how many goals... Who asked the question, sorry?
Jamie Everson.
I mean, how many goals does Jamie want? How many goals does he deem acceptable?
Okay,
I think Ashley Barnes will probably score in between 10 and 15. I think that would be a good return. I think the thing we have to look at with Ashley Barnes, he's not the goal scorer. He's someone that links play, and I think he sets a tone. And I think we spoke about it earlier, Chris. I don't think in this system, I don't think you're going to get a striker that scores 30 goals. And I don't think you need that in this system. What you need
I wouldn't mind it, though.
are 6 players scoring a good few goals. And that's the way we're going about things.
Well, that's the ideal, isn't it? That you don't have to rely all on one man.
And I think Barnes, look, I think he's taken his chances well this season.
Yeah.
I think he'll continue to take chances. I think he'll continue to stay fit.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with what I've seen from Barnes.
Yeah.
I think if he scores 12 goals, we can deem that an acceptable return.
I think he's going to score between 15 and 20.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And especially when Sargent's back, I think he's going to excel even more. I think he's probably doing more work than he should be doing at the moment, particularly in terms of like the pressing. And I know that like he's big on this. And, Ashley can only do as much as he can, right? But he needs everyone around him to do the same thing. And so, yeah, I think he's going to have he's certainly going to have a strong end to the season. Just in terms of his leadership and the way he drags us up the pitch, how vocal he is. He's like the end of the spine, and he's such an important player for us. I think he's absolutely indispensable. And so it sounds weird to say he's a striker where I'm actually like, I'm not expecting him to deliver loads and loads of goals. I do think he will score between 15 and 20 though. And I'm so grateful. He is the signing for me, like, out of all of them, he is the signing for me that I'm the most pleased about. Like, Jack Stacey, super consistent, etc. And I get how, he'll take the plaudits. Fastnacht obviously now will. But Ashley Barnes for me still, we spoke so many times last season. It bored me to tears about the weak, passive, pathetic mentality that was seeping through the football club, inside and out. And I genuinely think the signing of Ashley Barnes was a flick of a switch. I think the moment he put his foot into Colney, that was it. That was it. It just galvanised people. Yeah. I think he grabs people up by the collar of the neck, and I think he says, are you coming with me or not? Because if you're not, you can fuck off. And I think he's an absolute asset to this football club. He's more than goals.
Wow.
He's more than goals, Ashley Barnes. What about this from Half? Here's a fun one to mix it up. Starter and main, or main and dessert? I think we might agree on this.
I think so too. I don't know actually.
Go on then.
I'm a starter and main.
Yeah,
man.
Me too. Although you have revealed once before that you do like a good old spotted dick.
Yeah, I like a spotted dick. Yeah, had one recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
Enjoyed it. No, I'm a starter main type man.
Yeah, me too. What's your go-to starter?
I knew you were going to ask this.
If you're in a restaurant, like, what do you want?
As a starter?
Yeah.
See, I think if you would... I'm choking at the thought of it.
Yeah, go on then.
So if you go into
apologies to our audience
into a standard pub and you're picking from the traditional fare.
Hang on, pub.
Yeah, like a gastro pub.
Oh, you're so Yarmouth, it hurts. You're in a good quality Norwich establishment.
Okay.
And you've got a starter. What starter? Right, I'll inspire you. Mine
I'm just thinking
mine is mussels every day of the week.
Mussels as a starter.
Yeah, and the garlic and white wine sauce.
I'm not a massive fan of mussels.
Yeah, do you know why? You're from Yarmouth. Here we go, yours.
Something just
spam on toast.
No, something just popped into my head, and I know that people aren't going to appreciate it. Pate.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of pate.
Oh God.
Like a nice pate on a good cracker, or some kind of nice crispy white loaf.
Why? Oh my God. Why?
I just popped into my head when Half said starter.
Not even a good quality brown.
No.
You're
pate.
so basic.
Pate with a nice chutney.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm sorry to let you down. What about this one? From Moose S13, I think I pronounced that right.
Blimey.
Zolis scored his 5th goal in 5 games yesterday. Do you think he'll ever play for Norwich again? Because a lot of people are saying, well, we've got PP, we've got Tony Springett, but why is Zolis not here?
I don't think he does. I think if I were the manager, he would play for Norwich again.
Right.
I think there's just something about Zolis that they don't like. I think they've seen enough of him now.
I'm not sure we'll ever know the answer. I think it's one of those ones.
Some people just don't click, right?
Yeah,
maybe it's something in training, maybe it's a character thing.
And I hate saying that, but that is kind of true in some instances.
I think after a season and the same manager, and you can go, well, something might change. Actually, we've seen a couple of different managers in a couple of different situations. Even last season, when towards the back end, he scored, didn't he? I think against Birmingham or someone like that. And you go, okay, this is where he kicks on, and it never happened. Yeah. So, look, I think whether he could have scored 5 in 5 in the Premier League, and I don't think we'll see him again.
I hope he comes back to Norwich and he smashes it. But I think the reality is that loan move is all about getting him performing, getting his numbers up, and getting him sold for as much money as possible.
I think that's the key thing,
But it's sad. Like I genuinely thought, I looked at that signing on paper, and I thought, yeah, I can get that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Farke was talking out of his absolute backside when he said he was one of Europe's best up and coming talents.
Got us excited though.
Whatever. Ridiculous. Again, another bit of Farke waffle. I completely disagree with that. But at the same time, I do think that there was green shoots there. There is. There is. And by the way, I like him. I don't think he hasn't tried. Like, I'll still hold against Farke the shocking man management of him after that Bournemouth game where he wanted to take the penalty.
Liverpool game.
Sorry, was it Liverpool in the Cup? Sorry.
Because he scored against Bournemouth.
That was right.
A couple of goals.
That was why I had Bournemouth in my head. That was shocking and really poorly done. And I think that almost instantly really knocked his confidence. I don't think he was ever given the opportunity to have it back again. And then, of course, he was put in loads of random systems that were just... I mean, they were never going to work in the Premier League.
I think I told you about the time I knocked Christos Jolis's confidence as well.
Did you?
Yeah, I was in a well-known Turkish establishment in the city centre.
Haggle.
Yeah, if they want to sponsor us, hello.
I love Haggle, by the way.
And we had a lovely meal, and I was walking out, and a lovely gentleman held the door open for me.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you so much. And then because I was kind of in a bit of a rush.
You've never told me this.
Because outside, I could see Josh Sargent.
Yeah.
And Sargent was standing there.
Yeah.
And one of our family friends is American.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of go, look, you're both American. You're in Norwich. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they hit it off. I turned round, and the person I thought was the doorman was Christos Zolis. And he just had kind of blended into the crowd.
That's a cracking story.
And I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
That I never went back and said sorry for not saying thank you, Christos, for your goal against Birmingham.
That shows. He's clearly a nice geezer. All about opinions. At OpinionFest1 on Twitter.
Really does love an opinion.
His bio is connecting with anyone and everyone. Pessimistic Norwich fan.
Brilliant.
Why not?
Brilliant.
Statement. In the Stoke game, Ben Gibson was one of the best players on the pitch. He fought big shithouse Wesley all game and won the battle. Massive credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what I think is nice? And
God, they dived at the weekend, Jack. God, they dived, those Stoke players.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't like that?
Oh, it did my head in. And the Stoke fans were calling for everything. Everything. Yeah. And it was nowhere near. Like, they were calling for, like, throw it. Actually, oh, God. They were...
Breathe.
We won. It's fine.
Yeah.
But they were dreadful.
Okay.
They were absolutely dreadful.
The nice thing, I think, with McLean, I'm going to add McLean into here, and Gibson, it's okay to change your opinions about players. And Ben Gibson deserves the praise he's getting now. And if you didn't like Ben Gibson before or Kenny McLean, it's okay to go, actually, what I'm seeing now I'm impressed by.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to do.
As long as you're respectful about it and hold your hands up and say I was wrong.
It's a good thing to do. And I've been impressed with
Gibson. Yeah, because we live in this era of social media where, like, you have to dig in and you can't change your mind and people have got agendas against people.
Yeah.
And fair enough. Ben Gibson's proving a lot of Norwich fans wrong. And I'm really pleased he is.
Thankfully, I never have to change my opinion. Because, this season, I predict Norwich City to go on and do great things. And we are doing Exactly that. I'm going to finish.
I've just realised I've been getting a suntan for half this podcast.
I know, the light's really changed, isn't it? Final question from Art Mixer.
Art Mixer, yeah.
Art Mixer's got massive biceps. He definitely has pate for
I was
starters.
wondering what you were going to say there.
Art Mixer's got a statement. He's not asking us for our opinion, because he knows he's right.
Okay, go on then.
Statement.
Yep.
The game against Stoke wasn't pretty, but teams who win those types of games win titles.
Oh.
Excited?
God, I guess we
Just
know.
looking at those and
don't.
thinking when we next sit in these seats, Chris,
don't even start me.
would a draw be good enough to get that on your
What I would
on your
say
head?
is, but can I actually just say something about the hats? We've said after the Leicester game, the hats are on. Problem is, before the next podcast, we've got Plymouth away.
Have we?
Yeah. So...
Oh, we do, don't we?
Bit of an issue there. We might have to extend it, annoyingly. Because I could... Do you know
Yeah,
what I
we
could
do,
see?
yeah.
Do you know what I could see putting
Yeah.
out there? Beat Leicester and then lose at Plymouth. That would just be very Norwich, wouldn't it?
Or we beat them both.
Honestly. If we win them both, the hats are on.
Yeah.
The
Lakens are open.
The Lakens is flowing 100%.
Okay.
Again, final point to conclude, if you don't mind, Jack.
Absolutely.
To the Yellow Army.
Yeah.
If you're going on Wednesday night, make some noise. Bring your scarves, wear your colours, back the boys, get on the backs of the opposition players, make it a horrible place for the Leicester City players to come. Yeah? Let's make it an absolutely electric atmosphere.
Yeah.
An electric atmosphere of old Carrow, times gone by. We know this team can beat Leicester.
No, absolutely.
And there's talk of like us being a bit afraid and yada yada yada. And it's almost like excited nerves. Because I think people are afraid to admit and to own the fact that this Norwich City team are actually on a promotion charge. I think a lot of Norwich fans are afraid to admit that this Norwich City team are on a promotion charge.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
Turn up to the stadium.
Yeah.
Believe in those boys to do the job. Look at what we've got all over the pitch. We can beat Leicester.
Wow.
Come on.
I'm excited. Thanks, mate.
This time next week.
They're calling our names. Thanks very much for watching. A reminder, if you want your very own Johnny Rowe, Let's Have a Go t-shirt, you can get one. The link's in the description. Chris's wage packet's quite extortionate now, so all profits are reinvested back into the channel to keep providing content to you guys for free.